battling headwinds as a result of the fallout from the enactment of the rate capping law. But do we need the rate cap? And are banks really the villains? The battle to improve lending to individuals and SMEs? We seek to answer some of these questions.
Banks generally continue to be viewed in unfavorable light in the eyes of the borrowing public, even after the creation of rate cap. And even when considering the demerits of rate cap on banks, it is hard to find Kenyans who will support a revision to the current regulation with a view to going back to the previous situation where banks set their own rates. Why is this a case? According to Credit Bureau TransUnion Africa, there may be a link between the negative perceptions that the public has about banks and the way these bastions of credit treat their customers on a daily basis.
The result you're looking for is not to win my heart on having the sexiest product, right? I want to be the guy that feels that my bank, my lender actually cares about me. That sounds crazy. Why should a bank care about anybody? But think about it. Why do I have loyalty to a specific bank or to a specific telco? One, I may have a false sense of loyalty for a long time. But if my bank starts to make me feel that they understand me, if they feel they actually know me in my point of need, suddenly it's more than just a cordial business relationship.
Conversely, it appears that consumers are more prone to bringing more business to banks they feel they have a closer relationship with. Further, it is emerging that the globe is experiencing a shift in customer focus to a customer-first model of operation, and banks are being urged to move with the tide. This goes beyond just physical infrastructure, such as ATMs and other technologically convenience and product reanimations. While many institutions agree that there are negative ramifications to rate cap, it is still a good idea to think about the customer and their needs first. The banks that have been able to pull this off are now head and shoulders above the rest in revenue and profitability.
How do you capture what Steve Jobs did with Apple in your bank? Would someone ever tell you as a bank, oh my God, you guys understand me, or this product talks to my needs emotively? You seem to understand me.
While speaking at an executive banking forum hosted by TransUnion Africa, it emerged that data analytics, and especially what is called alternative analytics, would act as a sure remedy to curing the negative perception of banks when it comes to customer focus.
Targeting of customers, right? We are spraying and praying right now. But in a time where money is precious, we've had these interest rate caps that have seen a decrease in the lending activity. Can we afford to spray and pray and hope we find the right people?
Risks to private sector, credit growth, disruption by fintechs, consumer loyalty are just some of the woes affecting the local banking sector. Now enters consumer focus, which may be a priority to many other banking institutions, but still a remedy that, for many, may bear the one sure way to turn around the tough economic times.
Well, Kenya is looking to tap into growing intra-Africa travel to expand its tourism sector as African countries seek to create a continental free trade area. Well, the Cabinet Secretary for Tourism and Wildlife, Najib Balala, has said that Kenya's tourism industry is increasingly reaping from the strong business, cultural and linguistic ties between African countries that have made the intra-regional travel more vibrant. Well, growth market, speaking on the sidelines of the 61st UNWTO Regional Commission for Africa Conference in Abuja, Nigeria, Balala noted that in 2017, Africa accounted for 29% of international arrivals to Kenya, and this was indeed showing a great potential over the last 5 years, gaining 5% share of arrivals by region over the past 5 years. To matters energy now, and Kenyans could soon pay lower electricity bills as the government announced plans to have power project costs be denominated in local currency to insulate consumers against forex adjustments. Here's more.
Look at our bills now. I think last month's bill, what we call the foreign exchange rate fluctuation, which looks at all loans which have been off-taken from the time we started this development. And it's not just that. There are also some other projects funded by both Kenya Power, KenGen, which use foreign currency. For example, at the moment, the loans which they do in Ketraco to put up the transmission lines, or even Kenya Power to put some of the distribution lines. Because some of those materials, most of them are actually foreign, they are also denominated in foreign currency. So looking in totality, all those loans that have been off-taken by KenGen, by Kenya Power, the last bill's foreign exchange rate fluctuation should have been 1 shilling and 10 cents, if I'm not wrong. It should be in that region. So that is really the impact, because that is now going to balance the difference between the change of the exchange rate today and those other previous times.
Well, indeed, interesting proposals there that